Hello, Skywatch and UTARD, DARPATube, Google. Um, I'm sitting here like a lot of people, looking at the total situation, the worldwide situation. It's difficult even for me to begin to use the correct terminology, and worldwide is definitely the correct term, and globally and global blah blah is not. So I thought, why don't we go back in time and look at the pictures that we've been given by NASA, ESA, and all the other vector space agencies. And this picture, of course, is the famous Hubble's Eagle Head Nebula. And I know that this photograph, as they called it, whatever they tell you now they did to make the picture, uh, was around when I was about 15 years old or even a little younger. So we're talking about 40 plus years, 45 years. Okay. This is a photograph apparently that they took. But really what it is, folks, is it's an artist rendering, airbrush. Um, they were actually good at doing that kind of stuff back then on the side of boogie bands and stuff, believe me. And this is something that we have to look at a little closer in order to understand how far back and how much bullshit went on. And this was in the early days of Hubble's. Now, I don't know if any of you have been looking lately at the space photography that Nasshole's has been giving you, and others, ESA, of the even the planets next to us, let alone these faraway nebula. So this picture I found so amazing because I was kind of a weird, deep thinking kid. It was on the back of a cereal box. I've told this story and I cut it out. I never cut shit off the back of cereal boxes very often I can remember. And I carried it in a little wallet I had. And then I was a preteen, so I started to have a wallet then, or a teen. And I carried this thing around, and I remember having it for quite a few years until it got too ragged. The cardboard fell apart. But I thought this was fascinating. It just opened so many doors in my juvenile mind, I guess. And then it faded with history, along with the cardboard piece of paper piece of cardboard that it was printed on in my wallet. So 25 years later, this, by the way, is 25 years later. This is the 25th anniversary, they tell you, that Hubble's shot this amazing formation way out in the galaxy. You find this interesting, folks? I do. Now, this picture was Hubble's recently took another look at the star forming pillars with its newest camera, providing much greater detail than before. This was the 25th anniversary. So 25 years later, they were still photographing this type of thing with Hubble's. Again, it's artwork. I'll show you some more really good artwork. And this, of course, is representing a picture taken in this kind of grand detail from across the fucking galaxy. An infrared view of the Horseshoe Nebula by Hubble's 23rd anniversary image. This famous image. It's artwork. And they were doing this kind of art quite easily in those eras. Now you might say, well, no, that's what it was. This was the Hubble Space Telescope. I'll tell you something else. Let's go have a look at a little history here, okay? Or a little more future references, because this is going way back, 25 years now. These pictures, apparently, from the first Eagle Head Nebula back in the 70s, I think it was. So, okay, first let me say that the Earth is on a flat plane and there is no space. The sun is much smaller than depicted here, and it moves above a flat plane of some kind that we exist on. All of this stuff that you're seeing here is nonsense. It's not real. There is no vacuum and there is no magic force called gravity that sucks all the water onto the surface of a planet. None of those things are true in our world or in a planetary world of astrophysicist fucking shill Caprify liars. So remember, those pictures of the Hubble's took of the nebula are way back out there somewhere, folks. Way the fuck out there, okay? And you saw the kind of clarity they could depict for us. Now they realized that they shot their wad, so to speak, back there with those pictures. So they've changed things a little bit when they're taking these Hubble's pictures recently of way out here before they stop taking pictures at all for you. Okay? Now remember, this thing is circling the planet Earth in an orbit, right? So it was doing this for all these years. And it was able to give you the kind of detail way, way out there in the galaxy that you just witnessed. Well, let's see what they're doing in the most recent stuff. And rather than look at what's way out here across the Milky Way, what a cheesy name they give to that shit, a so-called Milky Way, way out here. Let's just see what they're doing as far as pictures with this Hubble scope or any of their other so-called orbiting satellite photography machines and satellites and space stations. Let's see what they're doing about taking pictures of something as close as, say, that thing right there, Venus. That thing right there, which is actually much larger in real. The real depiction of this thing is much larger than it is here. These sizes are massaged to make us look very important. They do this quite a bit. It's fucking insane. But anyway, let's just see what they can show you, having witnessed the beauty and the clarity and the crispness that they could show you those wonderful airbrush artworks from the early Hubble's pictures. Let's have a look at what Venus looks like most recently. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's you know, it's missing a little bit of the color that the early Hubble's pictures had from way across the galaxy, and you know, it's kind of missing some of the fucking detail too, I think. Hold it. Let me just check and make sure. Yeah, gee, it is missing some of the detail on the planet's surface, especially when it's just over here. It's just right there. And you're going to give us pictures in this day and age of this. Or maybe we should go and have a look at Jupiter, which would be, you know, a very large planet. I don't know what the fuck they're doing here. Maybe we should try to find something that shows the size more relevant, although, like I said, the sun is bullshit. The Earth being a ball is bullshit, but this is a little more like it. So if we can see across the galaxy and see things like this in that kind of detail, way the fuck across our galaxy, then why is it still? And this was 25 years, the 23rd anniversary of Hubble's. Okay? Eagle's Head, I think, was 25th or, okay? Right? So let's have a look now. Here we are 40 fucking years later, and let's look at Jupiter, that big one that's next to us. Okay, yeah, that's good. That tells us a lot. Yeah, oh, fuck, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of detail there. When you get right down to it, folks, I mean, there is a lot of interesting shit there, don't you think, to look at? Some stripes and some blurry fucking things and a few black spots, right? I don't know why Hubble's can't take pictures like this anymore. Do you? Do you? Well, I'll show you some pictures Hubble took most recently, because I think you might find these interesting. There's the dwarf planet Ceres. Aren't those nice? Now that planet and many of the other dwarf planets are just fucking hanging around out here in the orbit around us. And yet the thing that take pictures across the galaxy and the kind of optics that can present you with things like this, and even before that, the Eagle Head Nebula, for some reason, here we are in 2015, folks, and you dumb fucks are looking at pictures like this, and this, and these. Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking, do you feel stupid yet? Do you feel half stupid yet? Now here's some recent stuff. This is from a site called space.com. I think it's one of Thor's sites. And this is a recent picture taken by Hubble, so you can see that the clarity and the visual, the artwork has really been degraded quite a bit since back in the the 80s and the 70s, right? We're not seeing the same kind of nebula pictures in this one in modern times now as we were. I'm going to just take this back right now for you. And we're getting pictures like this. This is from this is the most recent stuff from Hubble's now, and of course it doesn't look anything like the original debut photographs that we got of it. X-ray NASA photographs. Oh no. We don't get those kind of photographs anymore. Okay, we get what you saw there. This is the type of thing you're seeing now. They've kind of toned it back a little bit, shall we say, but still, why the fuck can we see things like this? Oh yeah, this is supposed to be modern stuff, okay? This is modern, the latest Hubble stuff they were able to capture. And yet we're looking at Mars, and we can't seem to get a picture, even with this degraded new version of Hubble's, okay? Because that's what this stuff really is here. This is what I'm showing you there. This was the original stuff they started to fill our heads with the weird, mysterious, blacked out pieces that show up in various spots on it, and the wonderful close-up pictures. It's all fucking paintings. Even this 25-year anniversary shot of it and how it's got much clearer with their better optics is all bullshit. And if you can't see that, you're fucking crazy. This is the type of stuff they're showing us now, okay? Blurry, kind of getting just about like the fucking planets, right? But initially, they were going right overboard when they were showing you things like this. And they knew it, because sooner or later, some dumb fucks in the herd are going to ask why the planets just over across the way have such little fucking detail and just a bunch of bullshit to look at. Don't you think? Yeah. It's that simple, people. When you can look across the fucking galaxy, here's that bullshit size thing. They do that all the time too, because there is none of this shit. None of this stuff exists the way you see it here. The whole solar system thing is a fucking lie. And just as surely as they've made this fucking Earth larger than the rest of these planets, we have no idea what's above us, except that the sun is, based on what I can see, logical calculation, is not anywhere near that big, and it moves above us. And we're not a ball floating in a vacuum. We are a flat place from one end of this place to the other. And whatever rises is less dense than whatever sinks. It's just that simple. And there's only two other forces, negative and positive polarity, that are involved. There is no fucking gravity. There is no vacuum in space. There's never been a space program. And if you think that they are providing you with pictures like I showed you there, those kind of fucking pictures that you're seeing here, these weird fucking blurred out bullshit looks of these planets, and all this detail on Earth, they're laughing at you in this picture. And they're really laughing at you when they show you pictures like this of the planet next door, and yet they can show you pictures like this from 20 odd years ago across the galaxy. I mean, fucking be real, people, because from here on in, all you're going to ever fucking see is, stuff like this and those blurry fucking looking pictures of clusters across the galaxy from Hubble's. That game is up. Manny out.